Hello, everyone. I'm Lee Carroll.
And I'm Monica Morani.
Welcome to the Healing Wednesday Circle of 12. Monica and I will present these at this time every night, and Wednesdays probably forever. I don't know. It seems like it, and I'm liking it a lot.
I love it.
And thank you all for subscribers for all of the comments that you've had. Because there are new subscribers, I'll make this quick and concise, but if your streaming is not working well, because streaming sometimes is more difficult than simply playing a tape. So the streaming, if it starts and stops and all those, I encourage you to stop watching rather than being frustrated, because these are important shows. I'd love for you to hear everything we do and all the channeling and all the meditation. So what you do is stop, and approximately an hour and a half after this show, we do the replay. And the replay is simply a recording of this show, and it's much, much easier to watch, and it won't do the stuttering and all those things. If you want to know where it is, because that's a common question for subscribers, go to your user portal and find the place for the replays.
I love they have a portal.
I do too. I know, you know.
Couldn't be a better word.
I know.
Go to your portal.
That's, it's an internet thing, but it's also a new age metaphysical thing.
So, esoteric.
Right. Go to your portal. I have a call for healers. I want to tell you that we love finding healers everywhere, and we also know we don't have all of them at the tip of our tongue. If you are a healer, a certified practitioner, a medical doctor, a nurse, anybody with a following, with a perspective or alternative healing method, we like that. We're looking for you. You can apply to be a speaker or healing on our Healing Wednesdays, and we'll see if you're a good fit for being a guest on our program. It helps, again, if you already have a practice, because then we can give your website, we can talk about what you do, and you can tell about it. We'll drop the application link in the in the chat box. It's really easy. Just fill out the form, and we'll just see whether or not it fits what we're doing. Also, please feel free to forward the application to any healers that you know and that you admire, that might be interested. What we're doing on these programs, very important to us. We really want to bring alternate healing methods, and we have already discovered many that we don't even know about, that people have said, well, where did that come from? We love them. And it's not just one country. We've already brought you from several countries, zooming in, so it doesn't really matter where they are as long as they speak English.
That's probably a requirement.
Yeah, for this program anyway. Okay. The way these programs work is we start with the announcements, then we go to a section where Monica and I talk about some experiences we've had that we'd love to share with you that we think that you would like. And sometimes they're funny and sometimes they're profound, and we're going to do that. Then we have a Kryon channel. Then we have an interview. Then we have a break, and we come back with the meditation, which is the Circle of 12. So, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I think today, because I'm really excited, we actually have an Aussie coming online.
Explain what an Aussie is. Most people know. Are you from the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, I am. No. An Aussie is our term of endearment for Australians, and we often call Oz either Oz or Australia. Australia is another one that you might not be used to. So we have an Aussie coming, and I was really thrilled when Lee was coming to our country, Australia, and in 2014 I said to Lee, you have to go to Tasmania. That was his first time that I took him to Tassie. That's what we call it. And one of the other things too with our nicknames for everything, we call the bush, and in the US you guys call it the forest, you call it the other things. So the bush is all encompassing. It means the forest, and we say bushfires.
We say forest fires.
And you say forest fires.
That's, most people don't really understand that when you call it bushfires. They think of small bushes being on fire.
Yeah.
Because that's what we think of as a bush. So it's a very profound forest fires.
Yeah, and most people who grew up in Australia, we just have this deep love for the Australian bush and that fragrance of eucalyptus that comes in. And so super excited again about our Australian guest today who works with the bush flower essences. However, what I want to share is when Lee came to Tasmania for the first time, I said, it's magical. You have to come and experience this ancient enchanting forest. It's a wilderness area, and it's, to me, it always felt pristine, that it has been untouched for thousands of years. And so I took you, Lee, to the wilderness areas in Cradle Mountain National Park in Tassie, and you had a profound experience.
I did, and most people don't even understand where Tasmania is or what it is. Tasmania, to most people who don't know geography, and I was one of them who didn't, sounds like a country, a separate country. It's tell me if I get this wrong, it's a state of Australia.
Yes.
Just like California is a state in the United States. It's a state, and it is detached from the mainland, and it is the lowest point, I believe, of Australia.
It's separated by the Bass Strait.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you go to Tasmania, it's not as popular there as, for instance, the mainland at all. And there
It's
are many.
not as populated.
It's
pretty popular.
It is? Well, I talked to many Australians from Oz who had never been there. And this is what I meant.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be as popular a place to go to.
It's growing. The
Yeah.
tourism there is growing because it's just so special.
Well, that's why what I was saying was I was astonished that I'd met Aussies that hadn't been there, because it is extremely special. And what makes it special, I mean, there's certain kinds of trees that grow there, and no place else in the world. There are rainforests there that are different from any other place. It's isolated, it's beautiful, and it's pristinely I would say private. And so you can go there aren't many people there, and enjoy nature like there's only a few places on the planet like Tassie. Well, what I want to tell you is this engineer guy experienced something. I am proud of I would say of that which is linear in me. I'm a channeler, but I'm always saying, well, I'm not prone to see things.
Yeah, or necessarily feel things, you've told me.
That's right.
Yeah.
And yet, so many around me do.
Mm-hmm.
They say, can you feel this? And you go, and feel that? And I'm going, no. And they'll say, wow, I saw a color around you today when you channeled. When people first started seeing colors, I was going, I think they're crazy. There's no colors around me. I'd see colors. And then I had proof, and I won't go into that, but there was of that. So I've changed my attitude in the last 31 years about seeing colors and seeing things in energy. I remember once I asked Kryon, I said, in the shower, Kryon talks to me in the shower, and asked Kryon, why am I not seeing these things? Why don't I have the sensitivities that those people around me do? I am working with metaphysical people and esoteric people and gentle people, and they see things and they have energies. They see energies. I don't see anything. And then the message I got from Kryon was, you travel for a living, you go all over the world. Are you really sure you want to be sensitive? And then I got it. No, I don't. I don't, because my insensitivity, I think, saves me from traveling airplanes, airports, all of these things. I'm better off not to sense things. That all changed in Tassie. It took that energy of Tasmania in a rainforest that startled me. I didn't expect to see anything because I never have. I was in the rainforest. This was right at Cradle Mountain, I think. And in that rainforest, for the first time, I saw elementals. Now, I don't know if you know what elementals are. It's a very difficult thing to really pin down and describe, but they are the devas in the forest. You would even call it, I would even think a leprechaun might be an elemental, but in another way. In other words, they are those things in those pristine places, for whatever reason they're there, that most people don't see. I saw them. And this was out of the corner of my eye, and they manifested themselves as light. So they were lights that were moving around. Now, if you're a person who doubts things, especially when you see things, you're going to do double takes. Like, am I really seeing that? And then you'll go away and you'll look back and you'll say, yes, no. I did all of that, and they never stood still long enough for them to be in the middle of my focus. So they always darted away. And then I'd go there and then always darted away. I thought maybe, I'm having eye problems. But then I knew I was not. I was seeing the divas because they started giving me energy, and I knew exactly what was happening in the forest. It was almost like the first time Gaia ever said hello to me. So I just wanted to tell you that, by the way, she had to pry me out of that forest because I kept saying, I'm not ready to go yet because this is startling and this is new for me.
And I love that you said you saw the lights and couldn't quite work out were they there or not,
Yeah.
because in that same year of 2014, we went over the ditch. That's what we call the water body between Australia and New Zealand. We call it the ditch. So we went over to New Zealand and I took Lee to see the glowworms. Now, if you don't know what glowworms are, look them up. They're amazing. They glow at night and you can see them in the forests and also in the cave systems within New Zealand. And I took Lee to see these beautiful glowworms, and that was his experience. Oh, these are lights that you can see. They don't move. And it was another beautiful Gaia connection that we got to have in New Zealand. And the other fun thing that happened on that same trip was all about a theatre cat. So Lee, what's this story about theatre cats in general?
Many theaters, there's a lot of superstition in theaters and a lot of things that you have to...
Which you know from your
right.
background in audio engineer business.
And many theaters have a cat. The cat is easier than having a dog for a theater, and the cats often live there. Sometimes they'll have kittens and whatever, but they don't belong to anybody who's bringing them in. They often live in the theater, and they're kind of a mascot for good luck and things like that. This particular theater had a theater cat. Now, I didn't even know it, but I was on stage, and I was presenting to a crowd, and this cat...
This was in Auckland, New Zealand.
Yeah, Auckland, and this cat comes out, wanders out. I knew it was there because people were snickering. I wondered why, and I looked over to my channeling chair. Yes. Now, that's the chair that I'm going to channel in.
Yes.
And the cat took its place right on the chair.
I loved that cat.
Now, we're in our studio, so Carl, can you put that picture up of the... yeah, thank you. So then, there it is. By the way, I don't have that purple shirt anymore. I should wear it here, but I don't have it. And that is the cat sitting on the chair. The first thing I was wondering is it going to stay there? And that cat is very, very comfortable, and that cat was there until almost the moment I was going to channel. And
let's go to that picture though of the close-up of the cat on the chair, because I want people to see just how gorgeous this theatre cat is. And it stayed on the channeling chair throughout Lee's lecture. And then just before Lee was ready to sit down in that chair and channel, the cat stretched, got up, and stepped aside.
And I'm so glad, because I was wondering, what do I do if the cat stays? Because you don't, first of all, you want to just pick up a cat that doesn't know you. And the other thing, and of course, you don't want to sit on it. Then I was thinking as I was presenting, what do I do? What do I do? And right before I channel, cat gets off, walks away. Anyway.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So again, I think that whole trip was all about Gaia's connection with you, Lee.
It was indeed. And there's so much to see in New Zealand. And we have other stories about New Zealand. It's just one of the most beautiful places on Earth.
Absolutely. So I think now it's time for us to go into a channel.
It is indeed.
Yeah. So I want to invite you to make yourself comfortable in your chair. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, allow your head and shoulders, arms and hands, abdomen, your chest, your legs, your knees, your calves, your feet. Allow everything to just relax and melt and dissolve into the chair. And let's focus on our connection with Gaia. Our planet is a living, breathing, sentient being that wants to be in partnership with us. And perhaps you already have a beautiful partnership with our planet. Or perhaps you feel you don't and you'd like to invite one. Whatever your relationship is with the planet right now, let us together with intent ask for an even deeper connection and a more enhanced and a stronger relationship with Gaia. And just take another breath. And with that breath releasing, let us welcome the entourage of Kryon.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. Indeed, I know where I am. I know who is here, who is watching. This is very difficult for many. And yet you acknowledge again that connection even between twins on various parts of the planet. When one twin experiences something, the other twin often does, or at least feels something, and later they compare notes. And so why is it a stretch to think that Spirit wouldn't know you as you watch this right now? We do. Indeed we do. The intent to watch this, to enjoy the channeling, to find out what is said, is known by Spirit. There are so many things that you need to know. It's like turning a switch, dear ones. Even watching this program is like turning a switch, because of the intent is there for you to experience the love, the compassion. In these series of healing meetings, there are some who watch it, interestingly enough, are disengaged from that which is the spiritual component. Sometimes they will skip the channels entirely, in which case they won't hear this one, and just go to the end. And they'll say, I'm a human with free choice, but I really truly understand that consciousness can change that which is cellular. And they feel something in that, the meditation of the healing circle that we do. And in that, they are very aware of crossing that bridge and going through the mist and all of those things, and walking into a multidimensional place which they don't acknowledge necessarily as their soul, but they say, this is the place where I can talk to all my cells, and my consciousness can do things it couldn't do before. And the question is this: can you really heal your body and be perhaps even an atheist? That is to say, no belief whatsoever in Spirit. And the answer is yes. And it's yes because, first of all, consciousness heals. We didn't say consciousness plus a doctrine heals, or consciousness, plus a belief system in the divine heals. Consciousness heals. And that is universal. You can take any tincture of homeopathy, which is a signal to your body made by consciousness in creating the tincture. And it doesn't ask what your belief system is. It goes right to the centers of healing. So let's talk about that for just a moment. Kryon, I don't understand why you're going here. I want to make you aware that anyone watching this program, no matter what your belief system, or even if you don't have one, can go to that place that is yours to go to and work the miracles that you need to work. But let's get back to this one who has asked this. Kryon, I'm not even sure I believe in you, but I like the meditations and I like where we're going and it's working for me, but I don't believe in God. Am I okay with that? And the answer is absolutely okay. You are always okay in the eyes of the one you don't believe in. And that love of God that you don't see or recognize is always pure for you, always has a hand out for you in case you would choose to change your mind. But dear ones, that healing is yours if you choose to. But it's not complete. Let me describe to you the metaphors of those who've asked about that, who don't necessarily want to participate in a belief system that is a metaphysical one or any one, They just want to work with their own consciousness and their own cellular structure. The best example I've given before is that somehow that meditation is you having been given a 747 airplane with pilots and fuel, and you've been given it for life. And you're so excited. And you get in that aircraft and it's all yours. And the pilots are ready to go and you say, let's go. And then you cruise up and down the runway for life. I think you're understanding. Because you didn't even know it could fly. Or you didn't believe in flight. But what a nice machine. And how fast it could go up and down that runway. And isn't it beautiful? All of that power. And indeed, all that power, all that consciousness is yours. But dear ones, without the spiritual component, you just go up and down the runway. Another example that I've given is that you walk into a building and it is the healing building, much like perhaps the temple that we are going to walk in later. And you walk in there with the attitude that you have. And all around you are the tools of healing, just like they are where I take you in the circle of 12. And you even understand that structure and fractals of the 12, because that's not necessarily something that is only spiritual. The idea that physics is in 12s and all that can be scientific and never involve the spiritual if you choose. Let's say you walk into that building and there's tool after tool and you start using them and you get results. And you're saying, it's working. My consciousness is working. I am starting to heal my body and feel better, and I'm getting out of fear and all these things, and I don't need anything else. And then, one day, you discover the elevator. We've used this example before, and this channeling in a parable. And you discover the elevator and realize there's 80 stories above you of healing tools. But the elevator has your name on it. And it says your soul. It says the Creator who loves you. And on the doors is stenciled the love of God for you. Do you want to go up the elevator or not? And that, dear human being, is free choice. So indeed, you can work this puzzle any way you want to, and you're honored no matter how you wish to work it. You really are. There are no rules of behavior in that grouping of spiritualness, of what you believe or how much you believe or how strongly you believe it. The Creator loves you regardless. That's unconditional, dear ones. Totally and completely unconditional. When we get to the circle of 12 a little later tonight, I want to spend more time in the chair. And in order to do that, right now, let's discuss a little more about the mist. Because when we begin later, we're going to go right to the bridge. Because I want you to experience a longer time in that stadium that you are in during that healing portion. So let's review what we normally do in the healing circle itself. It starts with a bridge, and it always does. And there have always been questions about the bridge. Do we have to cross a bridge in order to go to this place? Kryon, you always cross the bridge. Is that a necessary idea or principle or axiom when you move into a multidimensional place? The answer is no. It does not have to be every single time. But what it represents, dear ones, is you opening a door into a place where you're going to act differently, You're going to be different. You're going to sense things you don't normally sense. It's almost like a sanctuary, a temple.